Now at 4:30 on WKYT This Morning, we have the latest this morning after a wild two-county police chase. WKYT crews were on scene as police made an arrest in a Lexington neighborhood.
A Central Kentucky man is facing charges this morning. Police say he posed as a Homeland Security agent to get someone to pay him thousands of dollars.
And the death toll continues to rise this morning from those deadly explosions in a Chinese city. Coming up, we'll have new information about why the investigation is so difficult.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning from WKYT. Welcome in on your Friday. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's get a first check of the forecast right now for Friday with Micah Harris.
You know, as you walk outside, it is actually kind of on the cool side. It looks very nice, and we're sitting there with clear skies too. Temperature-wise, we're holding on to the 50s and a couple of 60s, and it really is. You step outside, it's very crisp. 55 degrees now in Boyle County. We get in toward the afternoon, we'll be at 84 degrees. It's getting warmer and warmer each and every day, slowly but surely, and that'll take you off into the weekend, and that means rain chances are in there. And I'll show you how much we're looking at coming up in a few minutes.
Okay, we thank you. And this morning, a man is behind bars after police say he led them on a chase in parts of two counties. They say he is a suspect in an armed robbery in Paris.
Police chased him from Bourbon County into Lexington. Our WKYT crews were there when police arrested him in the Winburn neighborhood. Lexington police were called to help Paris police with the chase around 8:30 last night. It ended on I-75, but the suspect took off on foot from the interstate to Ward Drive.
People saw what he was doing, so as they started to slow down, but when he first ran across, he cut off about 3 cars that I think locked their brakes up, and then everybody started to slow down.
Scary for drivers. No one was injured during the car chase or foot pursuit. Paramedics were on the scene last night, but only as a precaution. As for the armed robbery, 2 people were arrested in the case.
At least 50 people are dead and 700 injured after those explosions in Tianjin, China. The blast erupted in a warehouse for hazardous chemicals on Wednesday, and the death toll is expected to rise. The blasts were so powerful that they registered as earthquakes. More than 1,000 firefighters were sent in, but they were stopped as authorities tried to figure out which chemicals were burning and their risk. Victims filled hospitals. Many had wounds from flying glass. The explosions burned hundreds of new cars to their shells.
Everybody just ran out, she said. We saw fire in a mushroom cloud. It's terrifying.
No word yet this morning on what sparked the blast, but China's president is demanding punishment for whomever is responsible.
Well, this morning, police are asking for help in catching those responsible for killing a soldier stationed at Fort Campbell over the weekend. Clarksville police say a 21-year-old Laperial Savon Easterling was killed early Sunday morning. Easterling was a soldier stationed at Fort Campbell. He had just returned to home when he was shot. Police say 2 men may have approached the victim at his front door. So far, the preliminary investigation has not found any link to drug or gang activity.
Our detectives have a strong feeling that someone out there knows what happened. And we're just urging those individuals or that individual to come forward.
At this point, police are not sure if Easterling's killing was random or intentional. They have no witnesses or leads at this point. Well, this morning, Secretary of State John Kerry will lead a historic flag-raising ceremony to officially mark the reopening of the U.S. Embassy in Havana.
His visit marks the first time a Secretary of State has visited the country in 70 years. Henna Daniels has the latest on that.
In just a few hours, the American flag will fly over the U.S. Embassy in Havana for the first time in 54 years. 3 U.S. service members took part in a rehearsal ceremony at the embassy Thursday as members of the community looked on. The change in diplomatic relations is something this 31-year-old Cuban woman is looking forward to. When it comes to politics, she says she doesn't care, not when positive things can happen for Cubans, young and old. Still others, like American Lois Schechter, remain skeptical. Her family's farm in Havana was seized by Fidel Castro's regime during the Communist Revolution, and her family fled the country.
If we have relations with Cuba, I don't think we should have them without the reparations.
In a newspaper column published on his 89th birthday yesterday, Fidel Castro repeated claims that the U.S. owes Cuba millions of dollars in damages caused by a long-standing trade embargo. Now that both sides have taken steps to reestablish diplomatic ties, President Obama has called on Congress to lift the embargo.
We don't have to be imprisoned by the past. When something isn't working, we can and will change.
Many Republicans disagree and are calling on Cuba to improve its human rights practices before a trade embargo is lifted. Hannah Daniels, CBS News.
Well, last month, the Cuban flag was raised over Havana's embassy in D.C., marking a historic change in relations between the two countries.
Well, he claimed to be a Homeland Security agent, but Frankfort police say that was a lie, and they say Jonathan Bowman used that claim to extort someone out of more than $11,000. He was arrested on Wednesday and charged with theft by deception, theft by extortion, and impersonating a peace officer. Frankfort police say the case dates back to 2010 when Bowman was seeing someone for medical visits, but police say Bowman told that person he was a Homeland Security agent. They say he even gave the victim something he claimed was an arrest warrant from the Franklin County Sheriff's Office on charges of bribing a federal agent. Police say Bowman told the victim the charges would go away if he paid him. We asked the Franklin County Sheriff about how the warrant process works.
Only a judge can make a warrant be recalled or changed to a summons, as an example, but never ever should a deputy sheriff or a police officer ever come and say, if you give me this money, we're going to make this warrant go away, because they don't have the authority to do that.
Police arrested Bowman at a home off Georgetown Road in Franklin County. They say he took money from the victim between 2010 and 2012.
Well, this morning we are tracking a tragic accident that killed a teenager in western Kentucky. Hopkinsville police say 17-year-old Javon Quarles died yesterday afternoon after being hit in the head by a piece of football equipment. It happened on a football practice field at Hopkinsville Middle School. Police say Quarles was helping move the large, heavy piece of metal equipment when it fell on him. He later died at a hospital.
This morning, an inmate from Lexington is recovering after being attacked in a state prison. It happened Wednesday night at the Luther Luckett Correctional Complex in Oldham County. State corrections leaders say they found 67-year-old Charles Tackett lying on the floor of his cell. He was taken to a Louisville hospital where he's said to be in stable condition this morning. Corrections leaders say 3 inmates are under investigation for the assault. Tackett is serving a 3-year sentence for child pornography charges out of Fayette County.
The Rowan County clerk has defied a federal judge's order. Her office is still refusing to issue marriage licenses. Kim Davis wasn't in her office yesterday. The deputy clerk said she was on a scheduled vacation. But the deputy clerk turned away multiple same-sex couples who tried to get a marriage license. Davis's attorneys filed a request to stay the judge's injunction that ordered her to issue licenses. They advised her office not to issue them until her appeal is resolved. But the couples who showed up at the office yesterday say they've waited long enough.
These people are cruel, and this is wrong. And that's how it is. That is how it is. And that's the bottom line. She's wrong, and these people are cruel to do this to us. And that's how I feel.
Well, the judge ordered both sides in the lawsuit filed against Davis to give him a written response before he'll decide on the stay.
4:38 on WKYT this morning. All the talk about a gay basketball player from eastern Kentucky being left out of his high school yearbook has made it to late-night television. James Corden talked about Dalton Malandano this week on The Late Show on CBS. We first told you about the controversy here on WKYT. In Betsy Lane High School's yearbook, every player has his individual picture surrounding a team picture except for Maldonado. He's the teenager who made headlines last season, claiming he was outed and harassed by an opposing team during a tournament in Lexington. An investigation later disputed those claims. Corden told his audience he understood Maldonado's frustration.
I get why this is frustrating, I really do, because personally I was omitted from all of the team's photos at my high school. I was. No, and worse than that, I was actually omitted from all of the sports teams.
The Floyd County Board of Education says the photo was omitted accidentally. The school district pointed out Maldonado's picture does appear multiple times elsewhere in the yearbook. The time this morning is coming up on 4:40, 20 before 5, and WKYT This Morning is just getting started.
Are you looking for a natural alternative when it comes to cleaning common areas in your home? Moms Every Day tells us what to look for next.
And we have a run at those temperatures. They're going to be continuing to increase as we go throughout the next couple of days. But get into the weekend, it gets much warmer, and also that slight chance of rain is there. I'll get into that latest forecast coming up.